Hi there everybody, welcome back. In this short video I'm just going to show you some steps I took to scratch build a low relief warehouse building. Here's the inspiration that I saw from the net. Looking at the picture, this is the one I sort of like the look of, decided to make this. I used some brick paper and parts from various other kits I'd previously purchased. So first you can see 1mm greyboard here, just putting out in pen the sort of shape I'm going to be cutting. And then on the next page you can see I'm forming the peaks of the 3 roof sections and getting ready to cut that out. So that's the shape now cut. You can see some windows and doors that I've used the shapes around in order to fill in a bit later on. Here I am just using a pen just to fill in some of the sides of the greyboard there. And then there's the brick paper ready to be glued on. And as you can see on this next picture, I've now glued it onto obviously the right side of the brick paper, and then started to cut out around it, deliberately leaving more space on each side because I'm going to do some wraparounds on each of the sides there to form a bit of depth. So there it is looking from the front again. You can see that everything's ready to be glued back into the corresponding windows. And here is some 1mm whiteboard that I've put into double size to make it 2mm to start making the sides. And you can see how those overhanging pieces of brick papers are then going to be folded round like so. So that will not have a break in the paper. Here's how the windows are going to look from the front. You can see the space I've designed has matched perfectly. And again there for the door there, that's going to go into the space there to form the small door. Here's the 2mm whiteboard now glued into one of the sides. And there they are now on both sides, look ready to have the remaining bits of the brick paper folded over. Here's the doors I'm starting to make, and there they are, just test fitting the shapes I've made. That's how the doors are going to be placed. So wrapping around the cover layer around some small card, remembering to cover in the edges there with blue felt tip pen. And there we go, there's the doors now fixed in place in the big space that I made for the doors. Here's the window starting to be glued in on the inside. And that's how it's looking once it's put in place. And then halfway through, look, a couple of the windows done, the other two still to do. All of the brick paper now folded around all of the various sides. Nice effect there with the light shining through. And I put a small gap in the door there as well, you can see. If you don't have any windows, you can download free windows off the net. There's some there that you could have used. Using the door rail part from the free scale scenes kit, and just putting in place some concrete lintel as well in the gap underneath the door there, just folding that around underneath and onto the other side of the building. There we go, look, that's how that's on the other side now. So that's in place, the door rail, the concrete lintel, the doors are in place, all the windows are now glued in place. Now started just to make some window ledges, making a cover layer and a small piece of card just to make a thin strip. There we go, wrapping it round, and then I'll be putting that into place above the door, like so, and also below all of the door, below the window openings as well, which you'll see on the next couple of pages. There's the first window ledge done, and just cutting it to the right shape and then putting it in place there for all the remaining windows. So the building's coming on now. You can see how that looks now. That's starting to look really quite nice. Then I started making a small bit of pavement for the front. So I cut out the right size greyboard again, cut out some curved edges for the pavement, marked out where the entrance to the doors would be. Going back to the building, here's some brick strips, just starting to put those around the top there to add some extra detail, folding it all the way around. So again, there's no breaks in it. That'll be built up using some extra strips there across the roof line. They were quite fiddly to cut to the right shape, but you can see how that's going together like that. I did score the pavement side. You can see hopefully on this photo here, it does give a bit of extra depth to the pavement cover layer that I put over there, and also again building up a little bit of concrete flooring that you'll see through the open doors from the outside. So that's just a bit of an effect there on the inside. So that's where it's looking now. Put a couple of signs across the door there on the left as well, and you can see the effect when I was talking there about seeing the flooring through on the inside of the building, and that's how it's looking sitting on the pavement area that I've made up for this to sit on, and on its side there, flush against what would be a back scene, of course, as it's low relief. Putting another strip of brick paper there across the top, just to put some nice detailing there across the top there near the roof. And on the other side, you can see where I've built up some extra whiteboard there, using some painted white brick paper now for the inside to create a bit of depth looking through from the open doors, and a bit of detailing there with some fuse box and first aid kit and signage like that you can just see through the open doors. So that's just showing how that looks. A sign has been put in place across the workshop doors there, and here's all the tools that you end up using, anything you can get your hands on to glue things. Put in place a back there across the back there. This photo is just demonstrating how I put in place something behind, because obviously you can see through those clear windows. Made sure that was flush with the side walls there at the back. And so yep, that's where it's looking now, starting to look nice and finished now, apart from only the roof. So roof tile sheets there, just cutting those to shape, scoring them obviously, and making sure that they're the right width and everything for the going across the top. Again, I scored the tiles just to create the illusion of a little bit more depth. Cut them to the right size and used a black pen to touch in the sides there, so there's no, and also the underside, the two there, so that there's no card colour showing. Making sure that when I put them in place there, the overhang is roughly the same all the way across. And there's one now glued in place, and then I just repeated that 2 more times for the other 2 roof ridges that you can see coming up. And then I put in place some different colour tiles for the ridges. As you can see on the photo there, I did have some unsightly gaps between the 3 tile sections there. There you go, there's a close-up of the unsightly gap. So I did try to close that gap a little bit by using some very tacky glue and some folded round card there, just to pull the 2 pieces closer together, which did help a little bit. But ultimately then what I did do is put in place some extra strip sheets there, you know, sort of a guttering if you like, and also put in place some venting there, which I used also some extra weathering powders. There we go, there's the gaps being covered up there on the ridge there, sorry, on the inset. And then I made some drain pipes, just from thin strips of card, which I painted black, cut them to the right length and put them down both sides, which was quite effective. And there we go, that's it finished. So I was really pleased with how that came out. There's a couple more shots coming up. I really tidied up the roof nicely. I was pleased how I was able to get all the gaps missing. I already had these scale scene buildings, so I aimed to make this new one just to fit in there. You can see that it really kind of looks pretty much just an extension of the same set really, and that's just showing it with some asphalt paper to show how it would look in a setting on a layout. So I hope you enjoyed that little step-by-step guide of how I constructed this scratch built low relief warehouse factory building. Really enjoyable to make. Some weathering up there on the doors as well. Hope that taught you maybe something about how to put together some summer buildings of your own, watching the step-by-steps there that I put through there. And also don't forget, you can just use parts from any other kits. You'd be surprised how quickly you can come up with extra uses for them. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Bye for now.